Okay, so Hunter, you got any lines of dialogue for us to read before the show?
No. I don't know if you noticed, but this entire movie was in Spanish.
I didn't watch the movie, but I think Zach,
it was your movie.
Yeah. Zach,
I read the subtitles, but I didn't actually watch the film.
I will not allow a woman to speak. Zach, can you give us a little Java to take us in? Then it's as much as I understand anyway about Spanish.
Ikanaka.
This was my favorite part of the movie. It was that part where the one guy turned to the camera and said, "Never give up on your dreams." Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau are dating. That's not a dream come true for either of them or any of us.
Oh, God.
But it does prove that things you cannot fathom happen every single day.
All right.
So why not your hopes and dreams?
All right, that's ridiculous. I'm going to give you an actual quote from the movie, and then we're going to get into this. Here we go.
It's extras and epilogues. Open the theater! Lights! Cameras! Action! Movies and reviews, things you might not have known. What happens when the credits roll? Let's get on with the show!
In a remote village, two brothers dispose of a demon-infected man about to give birth to evil itself, only to end up unintentionally spreading chaos. Welcome back to the theater, ladies and gentlemen. That theater, by the way, is open once again, as Extras and Epilogues finishes up October with Seanán's last employee pick. It's When Evil Lurks, a truly depressing, plotting film of goat-related violence and bad decisions. My name is Seanan Young, by the way, temporarily, and welcome to the show. Let me introduce the cast for you real quick. I am sad to announce, and this is true. Tonight is my last show. I am being replaced by AI. Zach and Lindsay were both replaced by AI a couple weeks ago, and Hunter will be replaced next week. But until then,
No!
No deal. It's Double H.
No deal. Seanan, evil loves children, and children love evil.
I was hoping you were going to say it in Spanish, though. Also, with
that's the only quote.
Well, there's also, like, back from round two. He's been with us almost all month long on Halloween. It's Zach Kirkus.
I'm in less danger this time.
You said round two. Let's take a look back at our most recent shows.
Okay.
Yesterday we did Sinners with Tanner and Zach. Last week we did Trick or Treat with Zach and Blade with Zach. And next week when we start November, I'm not going to say what movie it is yet because we're revealing it now, but we'll have Dalton and Zach.
Oh.
Yeah, Halloween time is Zach, and Tanner's time. But also, by the way, Tanner Calvert also here with us. Tanner, say hello.
All the talk of goats, Kaz are going to jump in at some point in time.
No, he'd have to be on the show to do that. He avoids it like the plague. Also,
it really does.
The one person that really didn't want to be on this episode because she really didn't want to watch the movie, it's Lindsay.
He made me watch it. I survived.
Lindsay watched it. This isn't good for the viewers at home, but you guys will appreciate it. Lindsay watched the entire movie like this with her hoodie.
Not the whole movie, just the really disgusting parts. Yeah, no, I was using the hoodie to block the screen so I could just see the subtitles.
Very brave of you, but she was too brave to watch the entire film.
I watched the two parts that you said were the most brutal. I just got really disgusted by all the fucking pus.
I can't make the joke I want to make.
There's a lot of pus.
I can't make the joke I want to make. I'm going to put it in the text only for babies real quick. Lindsay said I couldn't.
Just a ball of pus.
Lindsay was sickened by all the puss, and I put it in the chat
I already
right now.
know where this is going, given the way that you just said that word.
Yeah.
There it is. Hey, while you're there, do me a favor and read the thing I posted right above that.
I am infertile from eating scented candles.
I think he died trying to post that.
So tonight's movie is When Evil Lurks, and I almost pulled a fast one this morning because no one had watched it yet except Lindsay and I. We watched it last night. I've seen it before, obviously. Zach's seen it before, obviously. But Hunter had never watched it. So beforehand, after watching it last night, I was like, oh, I don't know if I have a good feeling about this one. I almost switched it to Tales of Halloween last second because they have the HD version on YouTube. And I thought this would be a more fun film to review. But I made my bed. I'm going to lay in it, and everyone that wants to shit all over my grave can. Mouth wide open.
I thought you were going to say, I made my bed, I'm going to lay in it and fill up with pus until someone drags me away.
Well, Hunter, there's a big hole inside of me. I call it my God hole. And, I'm
you want to fill it with pus.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. When Evil Lurks, let's get to these stats. This is a Spanish film, so we had to read subtitles. Now, what that means, if you're one of our listeners, there's a half and half chance that you can't read. So you might not be able to watch this movie.
No, they can read. They don't like to read.
If you are able to read words.
Illiterate. What does that word even mean? Like,
you can't watch a book. That's the problem.
That's it. Like, Watching a movie with subtitles is like the AI horror fusion of books and film, where you have to read along with watching the film. Now, to be fair, it can be a problem sometimes watching a subtitle film, because if you're looking at the dialogue, sometimes you do miss what's happening in the action because you're trying to read it.
And in this case, I was okay with that.
I remember watching Flying... Oh, no, what was it? What was that movie? Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon in theaters.
That was distracting.
Well, I remember a guy, as the movie comes on, it was either that or House of Flying Daggers. I forget. It was me and Bob.
I know where this is going.
Yeah. So we're watching this movie, and all of a sudden this dude yells out, "I can't read that." And I seriously said, "It's a foreign film. It's subtitled. Did you not know it's subtitled when you came in? You goddamn moron. Learn to read. This is why the Democrats are losing." Anyway, back to this film.
Is that why?
Released October 6, 2023, theatrically. It was also released on October 27th on Shudder, and I watched it day one. I was pretty excited about this when I saw the trailer. Directed and written by, oh boy, I'd like to apologize to the Spanish community immediately, because I'm about to butcher names like they butcher demons in this film.
I think I can do this.
Okay, take a shot at it. Yeah, take a shot at it.
It's Argentinian, importantly.
Argentinian.
Which is, this is an Argentinian film. So I believe the director / writer's name is Damian Ruña.
That sounds right.
If I understand it correctly.
That sounds right.
It looks right to me.
Keep going.
And stars Ezequiel Rodriguez, Damian Solomon, Luis Ziembroski, and Silvia Sabater. I hope I'm getting that right. I'm pretty good at that kind of thing. So
okay.
Yeah.
Well, if nothing else, I'm good at faking until I make it. So.
Again, our listeners won't know the difference.
I'm in for just a second. One of those names sounded very German, so Argentina makes sense.
Well, and it literally is Luis Ziembroski.
Yeah.
Which would be more, it would be not German, it would be
Polish. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. But again, our listeners, they won't know the difference. They can't talk, they can't speak a lick of Spanish. They don't know what words mean. So
and if you do know the difference, you can call us out. It's okay.
let me take a look at our listeners again as Cyril Villegas.
Oh God, no, Zane Laney. It's got a runtime of 99 minutes. 20 minutes of it are action-y, and then there's 79 minutes of talking and crying. Budget versus box office. Budget is unreleased, but it made $2.1 million total in theaters worldwide.
You don't get to breeze past the most obvious joke on the show. It's 20 minutes of action and 70 minutes of talking and crying, a.k.a. a date night with Shannon Young.
Whoa!
Yay!
Hold on.
I just thought you would do it to yourself.
Oh, yeah. A lot of ladies know I'm packing the BBC around here. It's called it's the barely bombastic cock.
Since I almost wish I just said Dalton Anthony because I assumed you would do it to yourself, but I would feel better about having done it to Dalton.
Well, if Dalton, we would have to have a button that goes small PP, or one that goes I hope you like PP.
I think you hurt Zach briefly.
I've got to stop drinking wine when we do these shows, but this one I feel like I need to get through it. Plus, I'm an alcoholic.
Oh my God.
Reports indicate this was not a financial success.
What is wrong with you?
Small PP. He's dying. Can't handle it. It's like we were talking about Lauren Boebert with Dalton. It just he can't do it.
Oh yeah, that shit got out of hand real fast. Just like Lauren Boebert in the theater. Hey. Yeah, this thing barely was in theaters. It was only there for a couple of weeks, and it made almost nothing. Again, when it says reports indicate it was not a financial success, all I mean is that I don't have any access to any of its numbers outside of the fact that it made a little bit of money in the theater and then it went straight to streaming. But I think the whole thing was it was supposed to be a
streaming movie,
thing, right? So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's hard to get numbers for something like that. So,
by the way, tonight's episode of Extras and Epilogues is brought to you by Dalton Anthony's new Switch game, Water Sports Resort, coming soon. He's not going to listen. He's not going to listen to this episode. Critical reception.
He is. He listens to them all.
It might not have been a financial success, but it was a critical success. It has 97% critical rating on Rotten Tomatoes. That's 7.8 out of 10. 75 out of... All right, I'll say it now. I don't fucking understand the Rotten Tomatoes thing. 97% critical rating. I don't mention this usually because I'm like, I'll just move past it. But a 97% critical rating, but a 7 out of 10. How does that add up?
I looked at this once, and I don't remember off the top of my head, but I'm trying to look at it right now and find the exact way that numerical deal works.
While he's doing that, I will finish this off. 75 out of 100 on Metacritic.
I got you.
Okay.
Sorry, I got you. So the first number there is the percentage is how many of the critical reviews were positive.
Okay.
The second one is its average score out of 10.
Okay,
yes.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's
what
it is. So 97% positive critical. I should put the word positive in there, and that might help.
Yeah.
97% positive critical rating, but then a 7.8 is the average score on a scale of 1 to 10.
So the majority of critics really liked it, but they would give it close to an 8 out of 10 on it. Gotcha.
Correct.
75 out of 100 on Metacritic, which is generally favorable, and there's no cinema score or Ebert review, but Rotten Tomatoes consensus calls it a, quote, hard-hitting horror film whose surface-level frights are just as engaging as its thematic concerns. So, what is this film about? Well, it's kind of complicated in a small way because this is a film that doesn't really give you enough information to fully understand what's happening in the world. They just drop little bits and pieces about it. But from what I gather, and Double H, you jump in here, and Zach, you jump in here and tell me what I might be missing. But it seems to be near the end of the world, or at least it's an end of the world scenario where these demons, these rottens, have popped up in different places. The church is shamed and given up on, like the church is nothing at this point, and everybody seems to be going about their everyday lives, but at the same time everyone knows that almost like the world is in danger, the world is ending. That is what I got from it. Is that what you guys got from it?
Yeah, more or less to some degree. And so it's known that these things exist, so it's been like 12 years they've been keeping an eye on it, basically. And then these guys, well, I'll let you continue from there. But.
So the basic premise, that's the basic premise of the world. Now, the premise of the movie is that there are two brothers, and I've already forgotten their names, and I'm so sorry.
It's Pedro and Jamie?
No, yeah,
Jamie.
I think it's Jamie.
Jamie. Well, it's not pronounced Jamie, though. It's like
Jamie
or something like that.
Jaime.
Yeah.
I think it's Jaime.
The J is an H, yeah.
Two brothers who are just living their GD lives until one night, they hear gunshots. They go to see in the morning, they go see what the gunshots were. They find I almost said bisected. I guess that's accurate, right? Because even though he chopped the other bits into pieces, it was still two halves for the most part.
Yeah, it went down the middle. Yeah.
They find this guy's lower half and his intestines all spilled out and a lot of weird equipment. They don't know what it is. They travel to a nearby little house where they find that there is a woman and her son and her other son and her other son named Uriel is a rotten. He is infected. He is disgusting. This is the part Lindsay had the most problem with, I think.
And I had just had dinner.
I waited.
I appreciate that you waited, but yeah.
You look like Pearl, but with more pus.
A lot of pus.
Yeah.
So
Extra pus. No, I don't like that term at all.
they go to their neighbor who seems to be well off, and I guess he's the landlord around there because it seems like he has power over these people, Ruiz, and tells him that, hey,
He kept saying it was his land.
it's his land.
I think they were renting out like a little place on his land or something.
He decides that the best plan of action, because the way that you deal with the rotten is you can't kill them. Hunter, this actually might be a good time for one of our first trivias. There are 7 rules for dealing with the rotten, and they're very important, and they break pretty much every goddamn one of them.
Yeah, so you can't use electric lights
brother.
because the shadows that they cast are on men. You're supposed to stay away from animals. You're not actually supposed to harm them at all. Harming them is a problem in and of itself. You can't
Especially
take anything
guns.
close to them because they're attached to it.
Right.
Yeah, you can't use a gun. You'll end up dying yourself. Never say the devil's name because that calls them, which I was a little confused about. Never say their name or the thing's name. I'm confused about that because Homeboy says his ex-wife's name a lot.
I think it's the devil's name,
then-
because the grandma at the part starts saying
devil.
Azazel.
Oh,
and-
right. Azazel
yeah.
and all that. Yeah. That makes that's what I thought, but that makes me more sense. And then you can't fear death. That's the one
Yeah.
I keep hidden for a little while. But like,
Right.
actually, to be more accurate, you can't fear anything. Anything you fear is going to allow them to lock onto
Yeah.
it. So you can't be afraid. So easy. Just don't be afraid.
What's the last rule, Grandma? That's only 6.
That should be a rule.
Yeah, I like that. I like that he knew.
Don't forget the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't forget the rules. That should be a rule.
So Ruiz decides the best thing to do is to take this thing and just dump it on someone else's doorstep, because the 2 brothers go to the police. The police do not care. They take more offense to the fact that they called them out for it. And so they take this big fucking body, they drive it somewhere, but somewhere along the way it falls out of the back of the truck, which, by the way, the whole scene of them dragging the body and getting into the back of the truck was a lot of fun.
I didn't watch any of it because
Yeah.
I was going to vomit.
So
It was
I
gross.
Sure.
yeah,
I was just gonna say, I think they lose it when the
they swerve.
kid just
Yeah.
randomly appears.
They swerve
Because
to
then
miss him.
that's
But
the
the
same
bed
kid
closed
that shows
and it
up
was
later
covered.
on.
How did it fall out?
I think it got out. I think it got
I
out on
think-
purpose.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure
Okay.
it brought the kid there on purpose. 'cause
Yeah,
that's the,
that's
same
the kid from
the
later.
end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They dump the body and they literally go, good enough. Good enough. And again, watching that scene was so much fun because since I've seen the film, I knew all the beats. Zach's the same way. He knows all the beats. He knows all the shit that's going to happen. So he knows all the parts where it's like, okay, I'm watching to see the reaction. And I knew for a fact that nothing was going to happen here, but it was fun watching Lindsay so scared of what could happen. This is one of the only movies I've seen that Lindsay
I
watched.
wasn't even scared
She
of it.
was scared.
It was gross.
Well,
I was
gross is scary.
disgusted.
Gross is
All
scary.
of the stuff down the
I
side
was
of the truck
trying
was
to
disgusting.
not vomit.
Oh, it was so green. It was so
It
green
looked like Slimer had
and
been
pussy.
there.
Yeah, Slimer just
I don't
nutted
like
No.
nasty shit.
everywhere.
God.
So they
And to be fair, I don't think the brothers were okay with just dropping him, but the landlord was like, "Ah, it's far enough." 'Cause
well,
even the brothers kind of like, "We need to go find it," or at least Jimmy. Jimmy was like the
Jimmy.
only responsible person.
Jimmy's fine. We'll just call him Jimmy. Yes, but Pedro,
Isn't that
aka
what they called him?
I did call him Jimmy actually. Yeah, I think you're right. That was like his nickname. We'll call him Jimmy, and we'll call Pedro what he should be called, which is Argentinian Logan. Zach
Pause for groans.
Zach
Pause
brought
for
this up.
groans.
He said he kind of looks like an old Logan, and I'm like, yes. Every time I've
Yeah.
watched this movie, I thought this looks like Hugh Jackman and Logan, just skinnier.
Yes.
Like especially the facial hair and the
It's
way
almost
that
exact.
it's grayed
Uh-huh.
So
in the same way. Yeah.
the rotten
And
gets
then-
out. He's loose, and bad shit starts happening. Pedro tries to go get his family. That goes poorly. Everything goes poorly from that point on. There is no joy to be had for the rest of the film. So that's your basic setup. Is he's trying to get his family to safety while this creature, this rotten, is threatening to corrupt the land around him, and then eventually it becomes a fight against time as they're trying to find this thing and kill it the proper way, which is done by a cleaner. These are specially trained people. And before it has a chance to birth this demon. That's the basic setup. So let's talk about the film. I said it before, there are certain beats of this film that I watched Lindsay for because I knew what was coming, and it's fun seeing someone else's reaction to it. Zach, you and I talked about this today. This very much feels like a film that the first time you watch it, it's great, but rewatching it multiple times, since you already know the surprises and the things, it's a little less fun.
Yeah, it's kind of like a one-hit wonder, is what I would say.
And Hunter, now that you've seen the movie, I can finally talk about that scene. You probably know exactly which one I'm talking about.
Maybe, I don't know, man. I don't want to like tip my hand too much here, but none of this really, like, there was shit I saw in the Smile movies that would have fucked me up more than these.
No, I'm not saying that it was like incredibly disturbing. It's just it was sudden. There were certain parts of this film.
What the fuck moments a few times, but like I didn't think they were as bad as you made them sound. But you also kind of told me what it was, so maybe it was because I was prepared. The
dog scene to me is probably the one that everyone talks about the most because it's just so out of nowhere. Although you absolutely see it coming.
Because I was gonna say,
yeah, they tell
wasn't
you.
Surprised.
Yeah, they tell you flat out, like, burn the clothes.
Dog smelled the clothes.
We listen to the rules.
We listen
the way
to the
that
rules.
This guy shows up and then says,
the way he keeps looking at the girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way he keeps looking at the girl, I was like, I knew something was going to happen. I mean...
And if you notice, too, like, as soon as he drops the clothes, the dog's all up in it. And then he's in there for, like, a weird amount of time. So at that moment, that's probably when he was tainted.
It's one of those things, though. One of the rules in cinema, especially with horror films, up until a point, was you don't kill children. Like, Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel, I think both famously hated the concept of using children as like dangling danger in front of them to build suspense because they thought it was cheap, but it never paid off usually. Like, you don't kill kids in horror films. That's just a rule. We've seen it more and more in the past decade, of course, even further than that. But to watch the dog just like this dog grab the girl by the face and drag her off, that's pretty shocking. I can imagine if they remade this film in America, which they probably will at some point, let's be honest, I could see them cutting that scene completely because I think that would be a little too much.
I don't want to drag the conversation in a different direction, but by this point in the movie, I was already frustrated that everyone in this movie consistently does the stupidest possible fucking thing they can do, and boy howdy, that does not work for me.
No, hey, to be fair,
was very frustrated with that.
To be fair, it didn't work for them either. No, a lot of times with movies like this, people they make dumb decisions, but in the end, they kind of luck themselves into victory. That is not this movie, at least.
What bothered me here was that especially early on, when we first started meeting the main characters, especially the two brothers, they seem to be very competent. They know the rules. They know what they're supposed to do. They know moving this guy is a bad idea. This is a horrible plan. But the landlord is a dickhead, and so it's okay for him to act stupid because we sort of want him to die, and you want bad things to happen to him. But it's like from that point on, everything they do consistently ends up getting other people killed.
Yes. Everybody, and his whole family.
Yeah, it's a terrible. Again, like, he brings the clothes in. Well, you know that's going to be a problem. The fact that he even went anywhere near, like, I understand he wanted his kids back, but the fact that he went anywhere near them, and then the wife or the ex-wife just starts screaming like she has no idea what he's talking about. Isn't this thing like a known commodity?
Yeah, Zach and I talked about that. Thing? Yeah, we talked about this today. That's something that I got frustrated with too on a rewatch.
Like, she's just in denial that
you could argue
is just a prefabrication.
No, you could argue that she hates him so much that she thinks he's lying, that she knows these things exist. I mean, if she even says, why, you just can't let me be happy. She blames him for the fact that he's there and that he's making up a story because he's just trying to get to the kids. He's trying to ruin everything. But I think in a world where this thing exists, it's kind of ridiculous to at least not question it. If there was an outbreak, and I know this is far-fetched, this would never happen, but if there was some kind of outbreak of, I don't know, monkeys with STDs and herpes that somehow got released out.
Well, that will never happen.
That would never happen.
Rabies?
Well, no. So let's be specific. Let's not get too crazy.
Like COVID,
herpes, STDs. If there was a truck full of monkeys that got loose, and everyone knew that this truck
on
crashed
the interstate,
in I don't know what's the state, Mississippi. Let's say Mississippi. Then if someone in Mississippi came into my house,
this all really happened.
If someone came into my house and said, "Oh my God, there's a monkey loose in town and it just killed a couple people," I wouldn't immediately. If one of my ex-girlfriends, if Allie came to me at the store and said, "Shannon, there's monkeys in Cape Girardeau. You know about the monkeys, right? Yeah. Well, there's one in Cape Girardeau and he's killing people. He's coming this way. We got to get you out of here." My first instinct wouldn't be to yell at her and go like, "You never loved me. You're just trying to ruin my life now." I would say, maybe I should look into this monkey thing a little further.
Right. Well, and on top of that, the woman knows that her daughter was dragged away by this dog.
Well, where is
then the daughter shows back up and she's just happy that she's fine.
Yeah,
and everything's fine. And there's no questioning about whether or not this is a normal thing.
Yeah, Lindsay looked at me and said, "How is she okay?" And I went, "She's not okay."
She's not.
Obviously.
But the woman should know this too. And like this kind of thing continues to happen throughout the movie. They go to the whatever the woman, like whatever
Myrta.
her designation is. Myrta. Yeah. I don't know what her like a demon slayer, like
Guilt.
She's a thing, whatever. Anyway, they go to her place and proceed to give her the least amount of information possible about what has happened to them.
Can you give us money?
Yeah.
Well,
there's no plan. She's the one who's supposed to know what to do. And he's like, no, it's fine. We'll just stay in the car. That'll be fine.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, he won't get out of the car." I'm like, motherfucker, there are how many of you? Make his ass get out of the car.
So, I get your frustration, and I don't disagree with you. And dead serious, dead ass. But I think the point of his character, at the end, I think his realization, because he's trying to be the strong man, and it's a mistake. And at the end, when he realizes everything he's done has ruined everything, he breaks down. And the ending, we're skipping ahead to the end. It's him screaming. No, they never present him as a hero. They never present him as, "Oh, this is the guy to listen to." It's a very human response of, "I think I know better, and I'm going to protect everybody." It's the bravado male response to things. So on the one hand,
times that he does it in a short period of time, like we didn't even talk about the fact that as he's literally right there at the moment of "we can end this, we can stop it,"
he
and
fucks
she
up
says,
again.
"Don't listen to that demonic little girl.
Yeah.
She's lying to you." He still fucking goes.
If you talk
like
to
that
Bob,
was the one where I went, "All right, I'm checked out now." At this point,
if you talk to Bob, he will tell you that this movie, it also frustrates because he likes this movie too. But he said it is just a series of bad decisions, and it is.
And I can accept a couple of those, but like,
what I was going to say,
at a certain point, you go, "What is happening?"
What I was going to say, let me finish this point here, is that even though I think the guy's response is human, it doesn't mean it makes it entertaining. And this is still a film.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
Zach, go ahead. You're going to say something.
In the words of Red Foreman, he's a dumbass. That's all.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. Like, don't get me wrong. I like for things to feel somewhat realistic in some cases. That's going to make me, more invested because, hey, I know how that works. But it's also a story. You chose to write the story that way. I can only accept the focal point of the fucking movie consistently screwing things up to a certain degree if this isn't supposed to be a comedy, and it's decidedly not a fucking comedy.
Okay, let me ask you a question real quick, and a serious question.
Yeah.
Do you think any of this could potentially be a cultural difference of someone from that area, and we just don't grasp the same thing?
Here's what I actually think it is, and this could fully be my interpretation of it, but it's also pissing me off if it's right. So I don't know. If you go back to that review, that critical consensus thing from Rotten Tomatoes, they said that it is a hard-hitting horror film with surface level frights that are just as engaging as its thematic concerns, and that to me reads like, if you look at it from a literary standpoint, that sounds like well, what's the subtext? What's really happening here? What are they really trying to say? Because theme is basically morals or lessons. Like, what's the story really about? Star Wars is not just about a farm boy doing his thing. It's about realized destiny. It's about, changing hearts, like becoming a different person, Han Solo. That's that whole thing, right?
Right.
This movie came out in 2023. Which means it was probably being written and produced in 2021, 2022. We're on the tail end of we either, depending on those two, we're either at the height of or on the tail end of COVID being a huge, huge deal at that time. This demonic possession in this movie reads like a pandemic. Right? The way that it spreads, the things that people do, how to, just don't fuck with it and it'll be fine. Stay away from it. Don't, make it worse. And then the person that we follow consistently fucks up and makes it worse at every opportunity. This feels like, if you look at it a little too closely, it's one of those, like, this is what we just went through things, only I'm doing it through a horror lens, and the protagonist isn't really, like, even though he's trying to be a good person, he's just making things worse regularly. It's like you make that same movie, only it's about a global pandemic, and Jimmy, Jaime, whatever, is a guy who wears a mask, but he wears it under his nose.
Well,
like,
no.
He's trying, but he's just making it worse.
That'd be Pedro, because Jamie was the smart brother. Like, I think throughout the movie, he was making the better decisions.
For a while, except he's the one who completely fucks up at the end.
How so?
He's the one who's there with the mage, with the woman.
No. Jimmy's the one that drives. He's the younger brother. He's the one that drives.
Who goes after the
kid.
The one that is like, hey, your kids are watching.
Maybe I got it backwards.
He's the only character throughout the film.
Logan.
Yeah, Logan. Well, let's say Logan and Jimmy. Let's just say Logan and Jimmy to help out here. Jimmy is the one that... I
didn't notice he looked like that.
Oh, God, I couldn't unsee it. Jimmy's the only one that throughout the movie, he's the one that tells him, when he's having the breakdown, he's like, hey, you have to be strong. The kids are watching. We don't want to scare him. He's the one that says, let's go talk to Mirta. She knows what she's doing. She's, whatever.
Okay. So I know who we're talking about now. He's also the one that when they go to talk to Mirta and she explains everything that's happening, he goes, well, we don't know what we saw. I'm sorry? You don't know what you fucking saw? Are you serious?
Well,
that pissed me off so much.
Because she's like, if you saw this, you'd know what you saw.
And she should, because it's a stupid fucking line.
To me, it's again, like, maybe I'm just giving more context to it. It's just that you want to believe that it's not as bad as it is. So him saying we don't know what we saw.
He can't be both things. It can't be that. Then that line should have come from the other brother. It can't be both things. He can't be the one who's reasonable and says, "Hey, we got to do this. We got to stick together. We got to whatever." And then in the moment goes, "Well, I mean, I don't know. We don't know what we saw."
There's another part of me that thinks,
I'm pretty sure he only saw the pus man.
He only saw the pus, but that should be enough. Let's be fair. If you saw that pus man, there's no one that's going to look at that guy and go, "That's natural. That's herpes."
Stuff that's been happening. So, but that's my only.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you because he only saw that. He never saw the dog attack. He never saw the wife get killed. He didn't see any of this stuff. So he's taking his brother at his word.
All of it.
Yeah, and it seems to me like he is the more submissive brother. Like, he kind of follows his big brother's lead, but at the same time, he doesn't want to admit things are as bad as they seem. Now, with that said, I share your frustration, Hunter. I want you to understand that I share your frustration. The first time I watched this movie, none of this bothered me. The first time I watched this film, I just thought, okay, dumb people make dumb decisions. This is a horror film or whatever. But I remember going, but I really like this movie. Rewatching it, there are some things that I still really like. But I also, once Bob said this a couple days ago, he's like, it's just a series of bad decisions that baffle you why they do it. The whole time I'm watching it, I'm going like, why are you doing this? Like, this does not seem like an intelligent decision on your part. Nope. Now I get it. It's so easy. And I've said this a million times to people because when I'm watching horror films with people, including Lindsay, she'll say, well, why would you do that? Or why would you think that? And I tell her, and I tell everybody else, you're looking at this from the perspective of someone watching a film that is a horror movie. These people are looking at it from the perspective of people who are in this world and either don't believe it, don't want to believe it, or et cetera, et cetera. So you have to kind of walk in their shoes a little bit. And to that extent, I can kind of see some of the mistakes in this film. But there are other ones, like at the end, not to get too far ahead, when the person who is a goddamn trained person in this says don't do it, and the guy goes, well, I'm gonna get the axe though because that kid told me. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, there's a big difference between, well, why did she run up the stairs? There's nowhere to go up there. Well, that's an immediate preservation instinct versus, like you said, I have an actual trained person telling me what to do and a literal fucking demon child. Wonder who I should listen to.
Yeah, why would you listen to that guy?
And
is a fucking idiot.
The fucking audacity to act surprised when they lock him in the room, and he's like, "What the fuck is going on?"
I wish he had.
Serious?
I wish he had yelled out, "No, the consequences of my actions."
Oh my god, that's all I could think of. You told me yesterday this movie wasn't funny, and I was like, I disagree.
Although the part, what is funny, Zach and I talked about this, when they're dragging her ass out, they just occasionally hit her with the hammer over and over again.
They just keep doing it.
Pop, pop.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't care for any of the school shit. The moment that she pointed out, "Let's go to the school," because I saw Escuela and I was like, "Well, I know what that is." I'm like, "Well, I also know where this is going. It's going to be every creepy school trope ever of creepy, quiet kids in the room, and little kids are weird."
Now,
and it was all.
I did appreciate the fact that the one kid was telling him what he wanted to hear, because that's some shit a demon would do. You have everybody else, all the other kids are telling you one thing, so you have the one kid playing the good cop saying, no, don't listen to them, they're lying to you. And that kind of makes sense. A demon does use deception. But at some point,
then the little girl runs out and like, oh no, he's lying now.
That's what I'm saying.
He shouldn't be listening to any of them. She tells him from the moment they get there.
That's the other part.
Listen to any of them.
Yeah, and he was going to because he's dumb.
He's dumb as fuck.
He wasn't just going to. He did.
If there is an award for the dumbest main character in a horror film, I think I would give it to this guy. I would give it to Wish.com Logan.
He's up there.
Yeah,
he's up there for sure.
I can't think of anyone else that makes as many poor decisions as this guy does. Like, legitimately.
There were a handful of people in that Blair Witch sequel that made some real bad.
I don't recall that movie. Tanner, do you recall that movie?
We did. We didn't hate it that much. Tanner did.
Tanner did. Which makes me really curious to see how this one goes. Let's get to the reviews. I think it's a good time, don't you? Let's do that. Sure. Yeah, let's get to the reviews. So on this show, of course, as you all know, we say it a million times, but I like to repeat it. We use a 5 because that builds confidence in the brand. We use a 5-point system. 2 thumbs up, you love it. 1 up, you like it. 1 up, 1 down, you're indifferent. 1 down, you dislike it. 2 down, you hate it. Most recently, the most recent beloved double up film is still Trick or Treat. Trick or Treat.
Trick or Treat.
Yep.
And should have watched that movie. And the most hated film is still Mortal Kombat Annihilation. I'm curious to see where this film goes. What did we review? Sinners. Oh, never mind. Fucking Zach. All right. With that said, let's go to the reviews, and we're gonna start. I can't deny him. Let's start with Zach. Zach, what do you think about this movie? When Evil Lurks.
So when I first watched it, I enjoyed it for, I guess, the shock value or like the sudden things that happen. But even the first time I was just like, this guy's stupid. Like, just stop doing everything that you're doing. Like at first you're the voice of reason. You tell this dude, no, we're not going to move them.
Everything you're doing is bad.
Because he says, okay, I'll move him by myself. Then all of a sudden you and your brother are helping him. You should have left. Let that dude do all this stuff. It would have ended with him shooting the goat. And then you could have even picked up from the brother and, followed them then because the goat died and then it's spreading. Okay. But rewatching it, I think I'm going to have to go like 1 up, 1 down. I think if you've never seen it, you should watch it. I still enjoy some of it, but I also felt like it was a little bit of a chore. But it is
using that word a lot.
Good. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. It is a good one-hit wonder kind of movie.
Yeah, it's peach crescendo.
Yeah, and it's very gross. So if you like pussy things, then this is the movie. And we didn't really talk about it, but the mom, after she shows up with her mangled face.
Well, I was saving that for my part of the review. Hold on to that thought, because that's going to be one of my points. Yeah, we'll come back to that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do one up, one down.
Okay. All right.
I think some people are gonna really enjoy this movie, and then some people are gonna really hate this movie. And then some people are gonna watch it and they'll be like, "Oh, it's a good movie. I'll probably never watch it again." So yeah.
Did Shannon not just do this yesterday? I think you're either gonna love it or you're gonna hate it or you're gonna be indifferent.
I give you three options.
Those are the three options.
I give you three options for this. Honestly,
I'm indifferent.
He's indifferent.
What they are.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think Lindsay's gonna have a different opinion, though. Let's go to Lindsay.
No, I'm going to surprise you because I'm also going one up, one down because I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I'm not going to watch this again. And I don't like that I was depressed afterwards. But the only part of it that I really, truly did not care for in the film was the nastiness of the rotten.
Yeah.
I could have done without that. Like, even the brutality on some of the other stuff, like, I was okay with. Like, did I jump away? Yes, because I'm a pansy and that's what I do. But it still had a story that I could follow. And it was worth watching, but I won't watch it again. It's not my cup of tea, but I didn't, hate watching this.
Not like Steven, hate playing video games.
No.
All right, anything you want to add to that?
No, I got nothing else.
Goddamn, I expected 2 reviews to last longer than 3 minutes. Let me take a drink and really stretch this out.
What did you want from me? You cut me off.
Okay, my turn. All right, here we go. Well, the first time I watched this movie, I liked it more than the second time. I agree with Zach 100% that if you've never seen this film, it's worth watching one time because once you know the surprise moments, it feels like a chore. I don't disagree with him. There were parts when we watched it last night where I was yawning and I was like, man, this is a lot more boring than I remembered it being. But with that said, I want to stress that one thing I do like about this film is that I feel like Hollywood and at least just movie making needs movies like this. There needs to be film. There needs to be films. There needs to be films. Yeah. That take chances, that do things a little bit different. The brutality of horror needs to be shown. One thing I hate is watered down horror. Now, on one hand, I don't agree with all the people that say a PG-13 horror film isn't worth watching. 100% disagree. It depends on the movie. Certain films don't need blood, gore, and sex to be good. Other films, that's the whole point of them. This film is kind of an oddity because it is a serious film that tackles these themes seriously, and in a lot of ways, I really respect it, and I like what they did. I like the slow burn of it. I like the intimate feel of it. I like the interactions between the brothers. I felt like they genuinely cared about each other. It kind of reminds me of Sinners, where you have two brothers who you can tell they're kind of dependent on each other. I like that they show the brutality. I like that you see the dog grab the girl by the face and take her off. I like that when people die, it's not a cutaway, but it's also not over the top, except for what I think is the best effect in the film. But this is what Zach was alluding to when the mother's walking down the street, just reaching into her son's head like popcorn and eating what's inside. That part really fucking shocked me when I saw it because, again, not only do you not kill kids in films, but you don't show it, and you don't show it to that extent. So for that, I really do respect with what they did. And I think the story was interesting and good. However, rewatching it, the errors that I maybe didn't see the first time were really on display. It is slow. Sometimes it's slow to a point of boredom. The main character, while I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt of, okay, well, if I were in this scenario, how would I genuinely react? Not as a person watching the film, but as a person in the scenario. And I can look, I understand that people make mistakes. This is fucking human nature. But at the same time, we're not watching a documentary. We're watching a movie. So you have to take what humans would actually do, but you still have to make it entertaining and make me like the protagonist. I did not like the protagonist of this film because he did get his entire fucking family killed except for his brother. With that said, though, I did like the effects. They were top notch. They were all practical for the most part. The shocks and like the surprising moments were effective. It's really hard, and none of it was jump scares. Like, well, you could say the dog was a jump scare, but it wasn't like this.
The dog was.
But it wasn't a loud, like, rah noise that makes you jump. It was a sudden, it was the movement that triggered the jump scare as opposed to a loud, obnoxious noise. And I appreciate that. When I watched Resident Evil, what was the third one? Nemesis?
The one that I had a migraine after we were done at the movie theater because it kept getting loud and quiet, loud and quiet.
Retribution?
Whichever one 3 was, we watched it in theater, and I remember Lindsay and I both were so annoyed by the fact that the only way they could scare the audience by extinction was by making the sounds so loud that it made you jump in your seat. That is cheap. That is bullshit. That is a weak writing staff. That is someone that doesn't know how to scare an audience. This movie, I think, just my opinion, the scares that they had in there, the sudden moments, the ones that made you go, oh shit, I can't believe that happened, were incredibly effective and well done. The problem is that it's wrapped in a film that is so slow and so bizarrely nonsensical in the directions by the main character that rewatching it, I was also frustrated. So with that said, do I think this is a good film? I think it could be, depending on who you are. I think that it's well done. It's well shot. The acting is very good. The effects are very good, but there's just something about it that bothered me upon rewatch. So I am also giving this 1 up, 1 down. And I cannot tell you whether I would teeter up or down. If I had to say, it would honestly teeter down, because as much as I love elements of this film, I cannot say that I loved it as a whole. But do I think it's worth watching? I do. If you like your horror bleak and you like your horror violent and brutal with no censoring, but at the same time, no exploitive gore or, you know, something that makes you go, oh, come on, you're just doing that because it's excessive. This movie to me wasn't excessive. It was just the right amount of brutality to be effective. Those things I liked. But the main character, the decisions that were made were frustrating, and because of that, I am going to go 1 up, 1 down on it. I do recommend it if you've never seen it, but I agree with Zach. Once you've seen it the first time, you're never going to want to watch it again. As opposed to a film like Sinners, Zach, which I watched again today, and I still loved it as much as the first time. So just throwing that out there. Let's go to Double H.
Real quick, with what you brought up with the pacing, it's almost like they're slow. It's almost slows down too much rather than continuing the build. Like, you get that build up and you get that little break that you need, but that break just goes a little too long before that next thing happens.
Well, I think if done better, there's so much space in this film for world building. You have a very interesting concept, but you fail on so many levels of explaining that concept and really exploring it. And part of me thinks that that could be a cultural difference between Argentina and America. I'm a Western audience. I'm a Western creator. There are ways that I do things that may be different in other countries. So over there, this may make sense. They may go, yeah, that's how we do it. But that's not me. And I can only review this from down there. Thank you. I can only review this as someone from up here, and that's just how I feel. So
I was just sitting here thinking they're also in the West. They're also in the West.
Well, it's the Southern West. It's the Southwest.
Yeah.
So again, do I recommend this film? I do. I think you should watch it if you've never seen it before. But once you watch it, you're never going to watch it again. And I feel like I've said this a lot later, Hunter. Your mileage may vary. So 1 up, 1 down for me. That's where I'm going to go with it. And I'm going to send it to you.
A lot of the end of your review is what I was going to highlight in mine. Only I'm going to settle on 1 definitive down. I don't think that, and I agree that the movie looks really good from an effects standpoint, from a shooting standpoint. It's really actually really well shot.
It is.
Color correction's incredible. Yeah. I thought that looked amazing for a very, what I assume had to be relatively low budget movie. I also think the actors did a hell of a job with what they were given.
Yeah. I will say
and that's especially tough.
The main character,
go ahead.
As dumb as he is, his acting in it is great. He's great at it.
Yeah. And that's especially hard because, again, it is for us anyway, it's a foreign language film, meaning we're watching with subtitles, meaning that we're not getting all the subtext at any given point in time. I know there were a number of times that the subtitles, what I read anyway, I was like, there's no way that's actually what they're saying.
Yep.
It's the best American English, translation that we can get, pretty much.
I agree.
Which is true in both directions. There are things that we say that there's no proper translation for in a lot of other languages, meaning that, again, you're never going to get the full subtext of what someone's voice is supposed to sound like when they're saying the actual words. So they're hamstringed a little bit in that way when it comes to us as an audience. But again, I do think it looks really good. I think it is pretty well acted from what I can tell, again, based on context. I don't think the story holds up in any way, shape, or form. I was never really all that invested in this story. To me, it seemed like fairly generic possession shit from the get-go. It had a little bit of a twist of here's some rules on how to deal with it, and this is a known commodity, and I thought, well, that could be interesting, and then it just was not.
They didn't explore it. They didn't explore it at all.
No, so I was going to bring this up earlier, but I'll just do it now. It makes it more sense here. Proper, I don't want to say proper. There's a whole bunch of different ways to do this. Standard plot progression, plot pacing in almost anything, books, movies, TV, whatever, in a singular story looks like a scalene triangle. And I know you're going, I can't remember which fucking one that is, but it's, well, Lindsay's not, but a scalene triangle, yeah, is long, flat on one end and then sharp drop on the other. Right. So this is I'm trying to do it backwards because that's my instinct. I hope this is playing right. You know why. This is your rising action. This is your opening, right? The long extended section. That's where most of the story takes place.
The setup.
Your opening exposition gives you that's your setup. Your opening exposition when it's still flat. Then most of the story takes place in the little ups and downs that happen on that long bit all the way up to the climax. And then there's that quick drop off of the following action, the resolution of what happens right after the final, conflict, and then what happens in the days, weeks, and months after that. This movie is so weirdly paced in that rising action section where, again, it feels like most of the movie takes place really early on and then it gets very slow. And then they try to pick it up again and then it gets really slow. It'd be like if a roller coaster was hitting you with like one really heavy sharp drop and then puts you back on that incline again. And you go, okay,
yeah, it's when you get
wait a
like
minute, we just did this.
The double chain links pulling you back up again.
So
yeah, exactly.
I think the difference between this and a film like Sinners, not to bring it back up, but we did review it yesterday and I rewatched it again today, is the entire buildup of Sinners is one continuous buildup where they build upon build upon build in a direction that is not only does it make sense, but it's entertaining and it endears you to the characters. This film did not do that.
Mini conflicts, little mini conflicts along the way. This one is always the same conflict, only it never works out in any way beneficial and it just continuously gets worse. And we talked about this a lot in the build up to it. You guys told me this is super bleak. It's like not happy. It's not funny. And that's fine. There are a lot of movies like that are really well made. The Road, that's based on that Cormac McCarthy movie, is one of the book. It's one of those depressing fucking movies I've ever seen, but it's incredibly well shot. It has a really strong thematic, presence. It continues along that the whole time. Yes.
Viggo Mortensen's in that.
But this oh, and by the way, Lyndon Ashby was in fucking Resident Evil 3. Did you know this?
I
don't remember this at all.
I did not.
Yeah, and they showed his name, and I was like, "There's no fucking way."
I'm looking it up.
I don't remember the actor because it doesn't matter, or the character because it doesn't matter. But,
right.
Yeah, because that was one of my least favorite of those. Anyway, back to this. I think it's well shot. I think it looks good. I think it's probably good for, or maybe better for the native language audience. But to me, the story just did not play at all. I was never really invested in what was going on. I think I would have had a larger stock in a lot of the things you were talking about that happened had I cared. Had I been able to get invested in these characters. But again, you can't make stupid decision after stupid decision and expect me to just keep wanting to come back for it.
Hunter, just so you know, Lyndon Ashby, you remember he plays that famous Resident Evil character Chase, a cowboy and ex-cop survivor.
Sure he does.
I just looked it up. I'm looking at the the synopsis. I looked up the name Chase. He is not in the synopsis at all. It's not until the very end where it just shows who plays who in the movie. So clearly he was important. Yeah.
I mean, there's a pretty great picture of him holding a rifle with a scope on it, so I'll
Good
give
for
you
him.
I'll give you that to look at.
I'm glad he's making
that's
money.
That's kind of it.
You know?
Anyway, yeah. Ultimately, I'm gonna land on one down here. I'm not gonna tell you shouldn't watch this movie. I don't think many people are gonna enjoy this movie the way that a lot of other people would. To me, and that's kind of how I gauge my review. It's my personal view on it. I have no interest in watching it again. I wasn't really that invested this go around. I think there are some good qualities to it, and I'm not saying you won't, but I don't think most people will.
So
that's it.
I'm being 100% honest. This may be the most disappointing movie I've reviewed this year. And I'll tell you why.
This year, I could give you that. I thought you were going to say in general, and I was like, well,
hell
dog
no.
soldiers exist.
Yeah, hell no. But the first time I watched this movie, I remember thinking, I have found an underrated gem that every horror fan needs to watch. And upon rewatching it, it almost felt like, am I watching the same movie I watched the first time?
You were surprised.
I was surprised. Yeah. But there were still parts I really liked. But at the same time, like, it no longer felt like the really underground, oh, wow, this is something everyone needs to see. If you're a horror fan, you need to watch this movie.
Sure.
So coming into this review, I thought two things. I thought, and no offense to Double H, because he's my good friend. I love him dearly. But I thought he and I are going to argue on this one because this is such a good movie and he's not going to appreciate it. But upon rewatching it, I went, I don't appreciate it as much as I thought I was going to. So, yeah, this was an incredibly disappointing film on the second rewatch. I wish I liked it more because it's such a cool concept. It's cliched, but yeah. All right, let's get to the end. So Pedro and Jamie, or Logan and Jimmy, reunite at Mirtz's house, collect Jair, and return home. Inspecting the property, Jimmy finds the possessed Eduardo, who admits to killing and eating the original cleaner 4 days before. He did the same thing to his own mother and alludes that Sarah suffered a similar fate, which she did. Which, Hunter, real quick, that's a trivia piece.
Oh yeah, so Jair, the only time that we ever actually get to hear him talk, because again he's autistic and he's nonverbal. He makes verbalization noises, but he doesn't actually speak. He just comes strutting into the house and tells her that he's cold and wants something to eat. Well, as he does so, he drapes a lambskin rug over himself. Before we now know later, again he cannibalizes his own grandmother. This whole thing is a little hint that he is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Again, he is preparing to eat the grandmother. He has lambskin. It's a whole thing.
There are parts,
it's a little Red Riding Hood bit too. There
are parts I really, really like. There's a part where Mirza tells her how this person vomited up the remains of his family that he ate the day before. Yeah. This movie has brutality, but it could have gone so much further, and I'll get to that in my epilogue. Inside, Pedro feeds Jair ice cream. However, Jair chokes and proceeds to cough up Sarah's hair and necklace. Pedro walks outside, collapses, and wails, which, to be fair, I think is a good ending. What else is he supposed to do? He's fucked everything up. His life is ruined. Everyone he loves is dead except for his brother.
Oh, and there's that whole, birthed an actual fucking demon into the world too. So
yeah, good job.
He did that.
Which, as Zach pointed out, he was like, "Did you notice that when he showered, he couldn't get the mark off? Yeah, he's marked forever. That's the mark of the devil, mark of the beast. Yeah. He will never get that shame off of him. He basically brought out potentially the end of the world. So good job, Pedro. All right,
thanks, Pedro."
And by the way, the ending has parallels to the biblical story of Cain and Abel, with Pedro smashing Uriel's head in and Pedro being doomed to walk the earth with a mark on his forehead, like we just said. Okay, epilogues. I only have one thing to say on this. I think this could very well be a TV series. I don't want to steal your bit here. This could very well be a TV series showing it's got to be a prequel. It's leading up. It shows you how all of this happened. And I think with a better writer, you could take an interesting story and make it very, very good. Why did the church become abolished? Like, why did everybody turn their back on the church? What are these demons? What is it? I think there is a good story to be told there. I really do. The rotten, the possessed, all of it, the rules, all of these elements could make for a very fascinating story. And I think a TV series is the way to go. You could do a movie, but no matter what it is, it has to be a prequel showing how it happened. Did you ever watch Fear the Walking Dead?
Yeah, briefly. So we were really, really into The Walking Dead until around season 8.
You lasted longer than me. I tapped out at 3 or 4.
We
watched for a long time.
That's true. I love
we watched for a long time. It was between 8 and 10. I don't remember where exactly. And then Sarah eventually went back and finished the whole thing. And now she has this annual thing where in the late summer, she puts it on in the background, like when I'm doing other stuff, and watches the whole thing again. I don't know. She will even be like, I don't even like this show. I don't know why I have the need to put this on. Well, I like the early seasons, and then the longer it goes. But anyway, yeah, we did watch Fear the Walking Dead briefly after it debuted, maybe like 1 or 2 seasons at most.
And Fear the Walking Dead was kind of that at the beginning. The first season kind of shows you the outbreak as it happened. And right. I always find that fascinating. My favorite part of apocalyptic horror films is not what happens after, it's the build up to it. I rewatched War of the Worlds not too long ago with Tom Cruise. I actually really liked that movie. Yeah. And I was so much more interested in the day-to-day life leading up to, the mass extinction and what happened than what happened after. It's so fascinating to watch the little things of, there's noises, there are rumblings, etc., etc.
You're going to hate this, and I don't think you watched this one. There was an American Horror Story season called Apocalypse, right?
I do know that, but I never watched it.
So the first 1 or 2 episodes you would fucking love, really? Because there is a lot of that. One of my favorite scenes from anything that ever came from that show, and that season ends up being not great. As I recall, it was kind of dumb. A lot of it takes place in an underground bunker, and it's just not that interesting. But in the build up to that, there is it's an opening to either the first or second episode where this super nepo baby rich kid is getting her hair done at this salon and is just a horrible person. And then the alert goes out of hey, this is not a test. This is an emergency broadcast. Get to wherever you're going, and shit just falls the fuck apart. I do like that. Bombs are dropping, planes are falling out of the air, people are killing each other in the streets trying to get what they need. It's very fucking cool, as I recall. Now, it could be one of those things that I watch and go, shit, this isn't as cool as I remember. But in that moment, I was this is legitimately scary.
That's this movie for me. The build up to the apocalypse is always my favorite part of the apocalypse stuff. Fallout 4, as much as I criticize it, and I do, because it's honestly probably my least favorite mainstream Fallout game, as weird as that sounds. But the build-up of you at the very beginning when you're getting ready for it, and then you have to get rushed to the bunker as the bombs drop, that's highly effective. Yep. My favorite part of the Fallout TV show was the part where the ghoul is at the birthday party and you see the bombs start dropping. That's such an effective part. So yeah, the lead up to the apocalypse to me is always more interesting than the apocalypse itself. To watch society crumble as the world ends is fascinating to me. I genuinely find that to be fascinating. So I think that would be my favorite version of this, is a prequel. There's a British film, I don't know if you've ever seen this, called Threads. Have you ever seen Threads? Mm-mm. So Threads, no. I think it was like a made-for-TV movie detailing the legitimate of pre, during, and after of the nuclear apocalypse of when the bombs drop. And it's so fascinating to watch people's lives as it goes from before, during, and after. I find that so interesting. I genuinely do. So I would love to see a prequel to this story where you see why the church becomes, basically shunned. I want to see where the rotten come from. I want to see what happens to these people before the end of the world. I am very interested. That is my pick. I'm going to go to Zach real quick. Zach, you got anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I'm really interested in the fact that they kept calling him a murderer. Everyone.
Oh, Pedro
else kept calling him a murderer.
Yeah. They said the wife faked it to make him. Look, what are you talking about? There's so much left on the table. Yeah.
And so, I'm kind of curious about that. And he was mad, so they clearly ran away. So did they go to the city? Did they go to a different country? What happened? Because he was mad at one point that he was like, we should never come back here, blah, 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 whenever he was having his, hissy fit.
I feel like he had to have killed his son, though, right? He had to kill Jair at the end when he found out that he ate his mother.
Oh, yeah.
He had to.
Yeah, there's no way he doesn't.
I feel like that's why Jimmy walked in. He kind of looked in and then walked over to the car and kind of held his face down, because I think it was the absolute worst ending. This is the bleakest ending possible. Everybody died. Everybody lost. Evil won. That you do not see that in films very often.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Anyway, Lindsay, anything you want to add?
The only other thing at the end part that I kind of noticed is obviously when they took the gun from the other kid, they took the 5 bullets out. of it, and then when they come back to the house, they clearly show just the 4 bullets.
Yeah, they made a big emphasis on that.
My initial thought was, okay, so the kid that was out in their barn came back, took the gun, and he killed himself, and they're going to find him there. And then when I see the remaining 4 bullets, I'm like, is this going to turn into the fucking Mist where he's just going to shoot his family and then shoot himself?
No, all right, look.
Is where my brain kind of went.
I'm tired of your Mist hating, okay? It's a good movie, and it has one of the most effective endings ever.
It was a good movie, but it pissed me off.
She
clearly.
was so fucking mad. I've never seen Lindsay that angry.
Crying. I was so angry.
Genuinely, she hates that ending so much. Double H, what do you got?
Well, this is not a bit. My ending was, hey, you remember those bullets that were left? Pretty sure that Pedro and Jimmy just played a fun game of Russian roulette until there was no one left.
You're not familiar with the game, are you?
I really think that's the actual epilogue. They unleashed a demon on the fucking world, man.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm in their situation, I can't say that I'm not going, you know what? I think I fucked things up enough.
And I got the family
right.
killed.
Again,
everyone.
Eduardo has to go, Jair has to go, and then those 2 guys, and there's your 4 remaining bullets. I do think that's, by the way, what they were implying. I don't think I'm coming up with anything clever here. I think that's why there was such an emphasis in that shot of there being 4 remaining bullets. Every one of them is getting 1 to the head, and that's all there is to it. Now, what happens after that is anybody's guess. I think that is maybe a story to be told, because there's, again, a fucking demon. I'm sorry, there's a fucking demon roaming the planet. Yeah. But yeah, I think these guys, they don't make it any further than where they were.
Again, it's interesting. The demon. You've got a world where
don't do it like that.
You've got a world where demons exist, evil exists. You have people that specifically are trained to destroy them. These cleaners. There's an interesting story there with a better writer. There's an interesting story there, and I would love to see it explored with a better writer. And again, I'm not saying this movie's terrible. This movie's not terrible. We all agree on that. It's not terrible. It's just we question the decisions, and from a audience view, it's frustrating. But, and I'm kind of sad I ended on that. I had such a good run going. Like the monkey, I still love the monkey. I can see why people are kind of hit or miss on that one, but I love the monkey. Yeah. I stand by my review. But Demon Knight and Trick or Treat, I had a good run going, and then I had to pick this one. I should have picked Tales of Halloween.
Well, I kind of wish your original plan was Weapons, and I almost wish you'd ended on Weapons.
I wish I didn't have Weapons. I didn't know it was going to be on screen.
Not that I fucking loved Weapons either. I told you I had thoughts about Weapons, but sure. I think that would have been a really interesting discussion, and will be someday. We'll get around to it.
To be fair, this was too. This was a good episode.
Oh, it was.
Yeah. I love the films where we don't agree. You know, everyone thinks, you all agree on a movie, that's the best episodes. No, the best episodes are the ones where we disagree. Go back and listen to Gremlins. Go back and listen to Breakfast Club. Listen to Sinners. The episodes where we don't agree, but we discuss what we like and don't like about the film and try to understand each other's perspectives. Those are the best episodes.
I know you won't do it, but I mean, I still believe the Phantom one was a good one too. I don't
recall doing that one. That's the weird thing. No, I agree. I agree. I agree with you, and I still, rewatching the movie, I wish I had given it 2 thumbs up. I regret giving it 1. That's a whole other thing. Double H. Here's the exciting part. If there's anything more fun than October for us, it's November, because we immediately go from Halloween to nostalgia. And goddamn, if there's one thing that sells people on shit, it's nostalgia. Zach Kirkus is coming back. We've got a whole lineup of great films coming in November. We can finally announce them right now.
Yeah, so we... for a while now, we've not watched a whole lot of particularly funny stuff. I don't know if you noticed, but if you look at the box office nowadays, comedies don't get made anymore.
No, not really.
There are no comedic films being made in theaters, very rarely on even streaming.
Kevin Hart fucked it up for everybody.
No one takes a risk on comedy anymore. That's the thing. You get your comedy from your Marvel movies, from your superhero stuff, and that's kind of it.
I was just about to say that. Who was it that had that criticism? They said people don't make comedies anymore because the comedies are basically your superhero films. They throw so much into those that it takes away from it.
I know I mentioned it a couple of times, but the guys on the Smartless podcast, so that's Will Arnett, Jason Bateman, and Sean Hayes, they talk about this pretty regularly. And again, notably, Will Arnett, a guy who does shit for superhero stuff. He's Lego Batman, for God's sake.
It's also very funny.
Yeah, but and those three guys have all worked in comedy almost not exclusively, but pretty extensively, and all said that comedies they just don't really get made anymore. So with that in mind, we thought, well, if they're not making them, let's go back to a time.
Let's get nostalgic about it.
Now I'm going to tell you, because it is Nostalgic November, and it's not just, our salute to comedy or anything like that. We would have picked a whole bunch of different movies for that. Nostalgic November also means that we pick things from our youth, from our younger days, things that we liked at the time. Sometimes kind of some sort of hidden gems. Sometimes things that may not be so hidden gems. And I don't mean that they're not hidden, that they're not gems. That only we enjoy them. But again, comedy's very subjective. So with that in mind, we have a handful of comedic films for you in November. I took the first pick here, and next week we are watching one of my all-time favorite funny movies, and that's fucking Wayne's World. I'm so excited to rewatch Wayne's World. That's coming up next week.
You know funny? I've
Yes.
never watched the original, but my cousin dragged me to the second one in theaters because no one else would go to her, and I had just turned.
Oh,
wait, you've never seen the first
second
one?
is.
I've seen clips, but I've never watched it.
Well,
in its
you're
entirety.
gonna see it now.
That's fine.
The honestly, look, I don't want to derail this, but the second one, I still think there are parts of the second one that are, he's the leprechaun.
Zach?
Well,
No!
But I knew I had no context. I didn't watch SNL back then. Like, I knew nothing.
Okay.
I just got.
I was gonna
dragged
say,
with my cousin.
if you didn't watch SNL, I can understand not having context or worrying about context. The first movie and the second movie don't really have a whole lot to do with each other. There are some things that carry over, but if you know the characters, that's the most important part. Yeah. So Wayne's, and by the way, the second one, it's going on the sequel September list now. I also like a lot of parts of the second one.
I really
it's
like
not
the
as
second
good a
one.
movie,
Yeah.
but it is very funny.
Double H.
Shannon, he had to beat him to death with his own shoes.
Which one?
It's nasty business, really.
Which one? Well, they put on
But
a great
Ozzy
show.
put on a
Though.
great show.
Which is the one that has Ted McGinley and Harry Shearer as the
two. That's two.
That's
number two.
one of my favorite bits from that. Also, really quick, I just want to say this now.
Mr. Handsome.
Yes. We do not have. I was going to ask you guys, what's the fun? I know we're talking about nostalgic and comedy, but what's the funniest film you've ever watched? And I was going to say, for me, I cannot do that because we've already reviewed the funniest film I've ever watched, and that's Blazing Saddles. To me, that is the funniest film I've ever seen in my life.
When I think of comedies, two movies immediately come to mind, for better or worse, and it's Liar Liar, because when I was a kid, that was literally the funniest fucking thing I had ever seen in my life. That was the height of Jim Carrey for me. That was as good as it could possibly. And I still think of Jim Carrey movies, that one holds up better than a lot of other ones. But it was Liar Liar, and then it was Superbad. I still think Superbad is extremely fucking funny too.
I've never seen it.
I've never watched it either.
Boy, part of me wishes I had picked that here instead of Wayne's World then. Damn it, I wish I had known that. That would have been a very interesting choice.
No,
That's Jonah Hill, Michael Cera.
We'll do it.
That
Bill
is
Hader.
them, like, again, at their Bill Hader, Seth Rogen. That's them kind of at their nadir, like at the beginning of their whole thing.
Yeah. But we got other movies
anyway,
on
not
tap.
the point.
Yeah.
Yes, Wayne's World next week. After that, we're bringing in Shannon's pick for the month, which is Almost Heroes.
Oh,
Yes.
baby. You talk about a film that I know
And
is...
I've never seen this.
This is not a film.
I got one of my coworkers that she wants to watch it just for me describing who is in it and what the premise was.
I'm going to say this
Got
now.
Bokeem Woodbine.
I want to spoil this now because I just looked at it. It has a critical reception of 5%. Zach is so worried about his pick, but like I stand by the fact that Almost Heroes is fucking hilarious. So Zach, do not worry.
It is wonderful.
That's the deal. And then the week after, what we're referring to there is that Zach is bringing a Strange Wilderness.
Yes.
On November 19th. And if you thought the 5% for Almost Heroes was bad, Strange Wilderness has a 2% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, wow.
But I talked to Lindsay about this because Nostalgia
I'm
November.
excited that-
November is kind of Lindsay's month, and she doesn't have a pick, so we don't have a fourth movie. Lindsay, what's the fourth movie?
So real quick, hang on.
Is leading up to this, I was thinking of everything of like old movies I like. I don't think any of the ones that I was gonna pick would fit into this, other than maybe Muppets Take Manhattan. But even it's not that funny.
Bullshit. Hunter, go ahead.
So I was just going to say, at one point in time, Jesse Kimball did float a fourth movie, but I agree that number one, Lindsay should have a pick in here because it is kind of her month.
Yes.
And number two, the one that Jesse floated, I think we agreed. Well, I'll just say it. It was Black Sheep, and it was like, well, that's great, but it's another Chris Farley comedy.
Right. We might as well say Tommy Boy. Yeah, Tommy Boy.
Tommy Boy would be a legitimate fucking classic. Black Sheep is more of the Black Sheep of
Hunter. I like Black Sheep a lot when it was called Tommy Boy.
The first time when it was called Tommy Boy.
I said, if you guys are gonna let me pick, give me a day or so, and I'll.
Of course.
I'll pick a
You got a whole month.
White Ninja.
Do better than I did because I held everybody's breath until I picked one Evil Lurks. So you saw how that turned out.
I'll pick my brain on funny movies from back in the day.
Oh God, I know what makes you laugh, and that scares me. Okay, that's going to do it for us tonight. The theater is closed. The balcony is closed. Great show. We'll be back tomorrow with an all-new After Dark. We're still working on the final top 5 because, true story, to peel back the curtain, we've gone over multiple plans. If you guys think that we just sometimes throw shit at the wall, we do. But also sometimes we really plan these things out and we go, well, what's going to be the best version? We're still debating it. So we don't have a top 5 for tomorrow yet, but we will have one. Yep. And you'll be assured it's a lot of fun. With that said, this Friday, just for fun, because it is Halloween, I think I will be live streaming, so hopefully you guys can be there for it. I hope you guys are there. We'll play something fun. Saturday, PZNFI Pro, big episode. You're going to want to tune into that. All of those things happen at Facebook.com/Podzilla1985 and Twitch at TwitchZilla1985. Check those out. We'll do it all again next week. For then, that's it for E&E's horror month, and I'm so sad because I love horror. This has been such a fun month. Such a fun month of different films. But we'll see you tomorrow for After Dark. We'll see you next week for a new E&E. Thank you guys for tuning in. Until then, we'll see you later. Double H, please take us out.
Shanna, go to the text only for babies and help me take us out. Read this picture along with me.
Okay.
I drew you a picture, and that's you and me with our dog and a beautiful house.
Well, who's in that cell?
Netanyahu.